Hey everybody, here is my 65-gallon community / grow out tank. Got a bunch of random fish. This is kind of my dump tank. If something's not working out in another tank, they come in here typically. So I'll just go through quickly just to show you what is in here. So I have one Bosemani rainbow, 3 Denison barbs, one yo-yo loach. This is a type of molly, and then there's those two. There's 3 mollies. Those are 3 right there. Up here is a just kind of regular betta or betta, however you want to say it. And then here is a redhead Tapajos earth eater, which is a juvenile. It's maybe 2.5, 3 inches. 3 clown loaches. And then here is an electric blue Jack Dempsey. Very pretty fish. And then I do have in here, there's a dwarf gourami. There is a fire eel, a zigzag eel, a black ghost knife fish, and a Delhaize bicher or bashir or bicher, however you want to say it. There is the head of the Delhaize bicher and the eel. The fire eel is right there. I will put a little food in there, and they will, the eel will come out to eat for sure. And so will the knife fish. The bicher's still pretty shy. I've had the bicher for, I don't know, I want to say like 2 months maybe. And it's grown, it's eating, doing fine in that respect, but for whatever reason doesn't want to, hasn't really become a confident fish. Sorry for the camera. There's just one-handing feeding there. So we'll see who comes out to eat here. The eel usually shoots up right away. Oh yeah, and there's this headstander. I forget the name of that one. But there's a knife fish back there. Love the knife fish. You know, obviously this is a grow out. Here's the fire eel. The fire eel is very a bold eater, which is great. And it's grown a lot. When I first got it, it was really tiny. I'm excited for that fish to grow out for obvious reasons. Knife fish down here once again. And then we'll see if the zigzag eel. Oh, and there's this baby bristlenose pleco as well. There's also a clown pleco in there somewhere. But yeah, this fire eel loves these bloodworms. I feed bloodworms, krill, and then pellets. And the fire eel only eats the bloodworms for the most part. I haven't really got it to eat much else. I have seen it eat a krill before. But everyone loves the bloodworms. And ghost knife fish, also bloodworms and krill. The bulk of what it eats. Such a cool fish. This one, I mean, I've heard that they're more active when they're younger. I've never had one before. And that as they get older, they become more nocturnal, or at least less bold with lights on. And it's really cool to see it out so much with the lights on. And I, have my fingers crossed that'll stay for obvious reasons. Yeah, so here's the 65 community / grow out. The plan I have for this tank, I'm going to eventually put these clown loaches in the 120 with the African cichlids. I've seen people do that. I like it. I want them to get a little more size. The clown loaches are maybe 3 inches. But I want to get a school, maybe 5 or 6 Amazon puffers for this tank. I think that'd be a really fun way to actually have a purpose for this tank. And probably keep the electric blue Jack Dempsey and the Tapajos redhead in here as kind of showcase fish. Maybe get a bunch more yo-yo loaches, so there's a nice school of yo-yos. um, and then kind of move the other fish around. As far as filtration, I have a 125 gallon sponge filter on it. I used to have, there is a, as you can see, I'm sorry, right here, this is a canister filter that broke and I haven't taken it out yet. But I don't really need it. This 125 is doing plenty of work. And then there's a Little Sun Powerhead for a little surface agitation. And yeah, pretty basic setup. I love the 65. I personally, you know, everyone has different opinions, of course, in the fish keeping hobby. And something that I find interesting is, you know, there's people that get really into it, of course, and have lots of tanks. And I have 3 tanks, which to some people might be a lot, and they're decently sizable, right? I have a 120. I have this 65 and I have a 29 gallon. And what I like about all of them, they're all 18 inches or more high. This one is actually, I believe it's like 31. No, it's 20. I think it's 24 high. I can't remember. I have to look it up. Anyway, someone will know, of course. But I'm pretty sure it's the same height as my 120. And the 29 is also high. It's, you know, compared to other tanks, it's an 18-inch high. And what I like about it is, like, often tanks that are high, right? This is a 65, but it's only 3 feet wide or 3 feet long. And it's a 65. And what I like about this footprint of a tank is, number one, it's wide. So it's 18 wide. I think it's 24 tall and 36 wide, or 36 long, excuse me. You know, that's the 65. And, you know, I've had a 55 before in the past, which is obviously, you know, it's 4 feet, but it's only 12 inches wide and 18 high. So it's not quite as high. It's not quite as wide, but it's a foot longer. And the reason I like these tall tanks, which I think tall tanks get like a bad rep for some reason, but tall tanks are often considered show tanks. And they are a little bit harder to work on in terms of maintenance, but not really, at least for me. I mean, I am tall and I use a short ladder, and but you know, how often are you really getting in there? I mean, even when I gravel vac, right? Like, it's totally doable with a normal size gravel vac. So my point is just that I think it's like, what is the point of a fish tank? Well, for me at least, it's to enjoy the fish. And so I kind of realized, like, why wouldn't I just have all my tanks be tall tanks, and essentially be show tanks, in the sense that I find they're much more enjoyable to view when they're this tall. You know, I'd much rather have this in a foot longer. Yeah, a foot longer is cool in the sense of, like, certain fish, even these denison barbs would probably enjoy another foot, and I will move them eventually. To a larger tank. I will eventually probably move into that 120 even. But, you know, as far as a viewing pleasure, I find taller tanks to be, it's just like a wide HD screen. You know, it's more glass that you get to look at. And I think that's important, at least for me. And of course, like, if you're trying to just stack a bunch of tanks, you know, tall tanks are like your enemy, right? If you're going to stack like 420 longs on top of each other and do a bunch of breeding or something, like, that's obviously a different purpose. But for enjoying fish, which to me is viewing them, tall tanks are the ticket. So I really like the 65. I really like the 120. That's the 5 feet by 2 feet by 18. And then all the other tanks that are tall, there's a lot of dimensional tanks that are, you know, are on the taller side. And of course, it comes down to preference and the fish you're keeping and etc. But I just noticed that there's this general tone of, like, tall tanks are, like, looked down upon for some reason. You're always going for as much length as you can get. And again, obviously, length is awesome. And that's why I love the 120. It's 5 feet. And I could have a 125, right? That's 6 feet, but it's a lot less tall. And that 120 is right at my kitchen table. And it's so cool to eat dinner and see that it's like it's like you're at a restaurant. There's this big display tank. So anyways, I like tall tanks, as you can tell. And this is the 65. community / grow out, and I'll keep you updated as all these fish grow, especially this electric blue jack Dempsey, which I really love. I've heard a lot of different things about it. I'll make a video on that fish soon. But yeah, everyone in here is quite happy. It's a classic, like, random mix that for whatever reason does well. So yeah, any questions, comment below, and talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Take care.